Hi everyone, and welcome to the Curiosity Show, the show that widens your knowledge about the world around you. I'm Megan.
And I'm Lara, and we're going to be here with you all week, showing you some of the weird and wonderful things about the world around you. Now, you might not know this, but this is the week of Festival of Science and Curiosity, and it's really exciting because it starts today.
The Festival of Science and Curiosity is a week celebrating all things science and curiosity. So a whole week of workshops and activities that you can get involved with and go to with your family from wherever you are in Nottinghamshire. If you want to find out more about the festival, head over to our website.
Every day we're going to be with you for an hour exploring lots of different amazing things about the world. We've got everything from how science can save the planet to why we actually shouldn't be scared of wasps.
And today we'll be diving into Dovecote Primary School's secret garden and into the labs at the University of Nottingham.
First up though, have you ever seen a huge T-Rex? Well, now you can. The first T-Rex to be displayed in the UK in over 100 years is on show right here in Nottingham.
Now, did you know that the T-Rex was one of the last types of dinosaurs to live before they went extinct?
We thought that this was so cool that we headed to Wollaton Hall to take a look.
Hi, my name's Martin. I've been helping out at the museum as a volunteer working on the fossil collections for about 4 or 5 years now. I'm a bit of a dinosaur geek and helped with the setup and installation of the Titus T-Rex exhibition. Just want to talk a little bit about a few things I find really interesting on Tyrannosaurus Rex. Amazing beast. It's got the largest head of any of the theropod dinosaurs. The theropod dinosaurs are the ones that run around on 2 legs and predominantly are meat eating. And if you take a look at the head, it's got these amazing teeth in it. Now most dinosaur teeth, theropod dinosaur teeth, the hunting animals, are quite they're blade shaped with a serrated edge at the front and are designed for slashing and cutting. The teeth of a Tyrannosaurus Rex are a much more rounded shape and they're a much more a puncturing type of weapon. The teeth at the front, however, are slightly different. They've got a D shape to them and the flat piece is at the back of the mouth, and that was used to help it feed. Now there's a hadrosaur, one of the duckbill dinosaurs, that got buried in a mudslide, and all that was sticking out was part of the arm. And what's happened is a T-Rex has come along, and if you imagine a custard cream biscuit, and you take the top off of it, and so you've got the biscuit, and then you've got the lovely creamy stuff. The biscuit's the bone, the lovely creamy stuff is the flesh, and the T-Rex was doing this, scraping off the lovely creamy bit of the biscuit and throw away the horrible bone bit. So the eyeball on a T-Rex is about the size of a grapefruit, and unlike what it says in the Jurassic Park movie where they go, if you don't move it won't see you, it would have seen you. Their eyesight was amazing because eyesight is all down to the overall size of an eyeball. The bigger the eyeball, the better the vision. The human eyeball is about the same size as a golf ball. This thing about the same size as a grapefruit. Absolutely incredible eyesight. Many of our visitors are fascinated by why the arms are so small on a T-Rex. And they are relatively quite small, but they are very heavily muscled. So it wasn't that they were useless organs, because if they were no use at all, they wouldn't have big muscles and would be really quite strong. What were they used for? Well, they're certainly not long enough to be able to hold prey while it's getting the face down onto it or anything like that. One possibility is, don't forget these are were living animals, they needed to sleep. Did it use its arms to help push itself up from the ground? There's a lot of weight in a T-Rex, around 7 tons. You need a strong arm to give you that push. Did T-Rex have feathers? Some people think it did, some people think not. The evidence goes both ways. So we know that with very early tyrannosaurs, many of them have been found with lots of evidence for feathers on them. There's a fantastic pair of specimens that were found in China of a very large tyrannosaur, about 2 tons in weight, Eutyrannus, and it is covered from the tip of its nose to the end of its tail in feathers. So we know that some tyrannosaurs were definitely feathered and very heavily feathered. Didn't look like modern birds' feathers, it looked more like hair because they're just fine, thin filaments. Did T-Rex have them? Difficult to say. There are a few skin impressions of T-Rex which do show what appear to be scales, but chickens' feet have got things that appear to be scales on them and are actually feathers that have modified and now look like scales. And just the fact that it's got scales doesn't mean it doesn't have feathers as well. It is feasible that there could be fine filamentous feathers protruding from between the scales. And these would have been used for display purposes primarily, but they might have also served a role in helping to keep the animal cool, because a feather, the blood supply to it brings the blood close to the surface and allows the animal to cool down. So jury's still out on whether it had feathers or not.
What a great video to get us started off with the show today, and I think whenever I eat a custard cream I'm going to remember how T-Rexes ate their food.
Yeah, definitely. And if you want to see more, on Saturday there's an event at Wollaton Hall all about the T-Rex and other animals that are around at the same time.
From one terrifying animal to another, wasps. Now, I know that Lara's not a big fan of wasps, but wasps are actually so important for our biodiversity. And we've got another short video here as a little snippet as to why wasps are so important. Take a look.
Well, that just goes to show that when you see a wasp, you don't have to squish it. But please remember, don't try picking them up at home. That video just shows you that you do need to be careful.
So now it's time for our first Guess That Sound of the week. Every day in the show, we're going to play you a sound of an animal, and you have to guess what you think that animal is. Now, it sounds nice and easy.
But be warned, some of these are a little tricky. Now, here's our first one of this week. Now, let's hear that and one more time. Do you know what that sound is? Find out after the break.
The Curiosity Show!
I've been a UNICEF ambassador for 18 years, and I've been sent to some extreme humanitarian emergencies, from the Congo to Afghanistan. Believe me, the people suffering the most in all of them were the children. Today, the war in Yemen is putting over 12 million children in danger. Many children are so sick and malnourished that without food, water, and basic health care, they could die. So we ask, what can we do? We have to do something. One thing we could do is search UNICEF Yemen online or text HELP to 83080 to find out how you can help. Just £5 could help provide life-saving food to feed a child for a week. I have seen UNICEF's work for myself in extreme emergencies. It saves lives and it saves childhoods. We must act now. I'm pleading with you to give from your hearts. Search UNICEF Yemen online or text HELP to 83080 and help save a child's life today.
With Post Office Over 50s life cover, you can have the time of your life. Safe in the knowledge we'll pay out money when your time is up. UK resident, 50 to 80, you're guaranteed acceptance. No health checks, and from just £1.15 a week. Plus, you'll even get to choose a £100 gift card. Call Post Office now on 0800 171 2211.
The Curiosity Show!
Hello and welcome back to The Curiosity Show. Now, before the break, we asked you to guess what animal makes this sound. Did you guess it right at home? What did you think it was? It was a chimpanzee.
Well done if you got that right.
Now, have you ever wondered what it's like to be a scientist? We spoke to Kelly Lee, who's an infection immunologist. Now, that's a bit of a mouthful, but basically what she does is she looks at bacteria that makes us poorly and investigates why. Take a look.
The Curiosity Show!
Yeah, hi, I'm Kelly. I'm a PhD student at the University of Nottingham. Basically, I work on how bacteria mess with our immune system to mean that we can't clear them. I think it is the collaborative aspect, honestly. I'm really lucky that in my lab I work with some amazing and supportive scientists, and it's a really great group. It's probably a scientist called Eva Gluins. She is a parasitologist that I met when I was during my undergrad. I'm a little bit of a fangirl of her, honestly. I find it really interesting that you're not allowed to use your own blood for experiments if you use whole blood. I think that honestly, if it's something that you're interested in, just go for it. Don't sort of feel like you need to be sort of like at one of the top schools or getting like the highest flyer in your class. Like, if you find it interesting, like that's going to take you a long way, and it's a job that kind of needs passion. I feel like I should be tactical here and say like my phone so I can call for help or something, but for me, probably just like a bunch of snacks. I guess the kind of idea that we're all kind of like reclusive elitists that hide away and don't want to kind of share with the rest of the world. Tesla. I mean, I feel like I always have a lot of stuff like going on at once, so probably like like pausing time or something. We'd have to get all philosophical, you know, like that Arrival movie with like your whiteboard, trying to work out that, probably. Hairdresser, definitely. This, I suppose. Probably Survivor by Chuck Palahniuk. The guy that did Fight Club. The Prestige, is it, that movie? Sick film, to be fair.
The Curiosity.
Now, if you enjoyed that, we've got lots of different scientists talking to us throughout the week so we can find out what it's like to do their job. Now, Megan, I've got a really important question for you. If you could be any scientist, what would you be?
Well, I'm really lucky in my job that I get to meet lots and lots and lots of different scientists. But I think the job that interests me the most and the kind of science that I'm most interested in, I think, is all about space. So I think I'd want to be an astronomer. I'd like to learn all about different galaxies and stars and planets and moons. What about you?
I think I'd want to be a neuroscientist. I find the brain so fascinating and I love how strong it is and how there's just so much that we just don't know about the brain.
Well, you'll be lucky because we've got some scientists coming up later in the show. If you let us know on social media what kind of scientist you might want to be, you can let us know on social media. We're at NotsFosac, and have a look at our website, www.notsfosac.co.uk.
And of course, don't forget to use the hashtag CuriousNots to send us all of your pictures of you being wonderful scientists at home.
But first, we're going to be taking a look into the world of chemistry and learning all about catalysts. Here we are, take a look now.
Hi guys, we're scientists at the University of Nottingham researching sustainable catalysts.
So, what is a catalyst? The catalyst is something that we can use in chemistry to make a reaction happen way faster than it would if we didn't use it.
We can demonstrate this with a simple reaction. Let's go set up the experiment. Here's a glass of liquid called hydrogen peroxide, and I've added there some dishwashing detergent. Nothing really seems to be happening, even if I stir it really fast.
But what happens if we use a catalyst? This mixture of potassium iodide and water can catalyze this reaction. Let's add this to the glass and see what happens. As you can see, I got lots of foam without stirring the mixture at all.
Why is it so important to look for new catalysts? Well, here we have a few different items. I've got a milk bottle,
Motor oil,
paper in these books,
coffee cups,
an assortment of medication.
and bread.
What do all of these products have in common? Can you guess?
Well, all of these seemingly random items need a catalytic reaction in some point of their production, and without suitable catalysts, we wouldn't have these products.
In fact, 85% of chemical reactions in industry need a catalyst, which is why it's so important that we keep on improving the way that we design them.
Most of the best known catalysts we use are metals, and some of the metals can be very expensive and rare. Here we have a collection of widely used catalyst metals: iridium, rhodium, palladium and gold. Well, did you guess gold? Gold can be pretty expensive, but it's actually the cheapest metal in here.
Because commonly used catalysts are very expensive and rare, we should use them as effectively as we can. Otherwise, we will run out of them eventually.
So, what we are researching is what is the minimum amount of atoms you need to make an effective catalyst. For example, how many atoms do you think that there are in this tiny piece of gold?
There are actually this many atoms in just this little piece. What if we could use every single atom effectively? Well, we'd be able to make reactions go much faster and potentially lower the amount of energy we need to use.
A nanoparticle is made up of a few thousand atoms. So, in this chemical reaction, this molecule sticks onto the catalyst and then is transformed into the product. How fast the reaction will go depends on how many molecules of the starting material can fit around the catalyst.
So around this nanoparticle, we can fit 5 molecules of the starting material. But if we use the atoms more efficiently, we could fit a lot more. So when we break up this nanoparticle into smaller clusters, we can now fit 10 molecules of the starting material at the same time. So we're doing research to see exactly how small we can make these clusters to be able to make the most atom-efficient catalysts as possible.
Making small clusters and single atoms normally isn't easy, but luckily we got to use the really cool equipment. Let's go have a look. This is a magnetron sputtering machine which we use to make single atoms effectively. Then we can test them to see how well they work in catalysis.
So we hope that you can see that catalysis is a really exciting and important area of research, which helps us to make reactions go faster while using less energy. We hope that our research will help us tackle climate change and build a greener future for us all.
Now that just goes to show how important science is going to be for saving our planet for generations to come. Now, every day in the Curiosity Show, we're going to be doing a live demonstration of a very simple science trick that you can do at home. And today's activity we've got is the balancing bird. I'm going to pop that back on here and we're going to make one right now. Okay, so first things that we need is we need some card. Now, thick card is best, but you probably can get away with paper. Some scissors, a pen, some coins. I've got 2p pieces, but you can use any coin really, and something sticky as well. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw around this template. Now, actually, we've taken this activity from our friend Alam Shahar, who is a science teacher and a writer. And he has sent us over the template that you can use to make the balancing bird. We've put that on our website, so you can have a look and download that template and make one of these at home after the show. So I'm going to start by cutting around my bird. You can do this as a bird shape. We've also made one of these as a kind of crab shape before, so you can get quite creative with it. If you like doing these kinds of activities at home, you should have a look at our friends in Australia who have a program called The Curiosity Show as well. And they've been uploading videos to their YouTube channel from their television program, and they've got hundreds and hundreds of activities that you can do at home. So I'd really recommend checking that out. Now, almost finished with my cutting. If you might need some help with an adult at home doing the cutting out. So there we go. Now, the next thing that we need to do is we'll take our sticky pieces. You can also use blue tack. I'm going to stick those on the end, just where the tips of the wings are. And there we go. There's the other one. And then I'm going to stick my 2p pieces onto the ends of the wings. Now, that adds the weight onto the ends of the wings, and it moves the center of gravity from being inside the middle of the bird to the edge. And that means that the bird will balance on your finger, just like so. So as I say, have a look on our website, on the festival website page. Under the Curiosity Show, you'll be able to download the template and make your own one of these at home, and you can have a decorate of it as well, and it'll look really good. Wow, look at that. Well, still to come,
we've got Heather from Green Meadows coming on the show to talk to us about how we can all be a little bit more climate conscious. We'll see you in a bit.
Hello, I'm Will Watson, Director of Watson's Estate Agents, and this is Francesca, Angelina, John and Laura. We're going to be giving you our top 5 tips for selling your home. Tip 1, get your ducks in a row. Start by having a look online, getting a feel for what's out there in the market. A lot of properties are selling before they even get online, so I would advise you to register with a good local estate agent to get advance notice on some of these properties that are going to be coming onto the market, get a good flavour for it. Then ask them out to do a valuation on your own property, and that's going to give you a good feel on what your budget might be going forward. And also that a good reliable local estate agent will have access to a good independent mortgage advisor, and they will also give you a good sense of your affordability. Tip number 2 is choose the right estate agent. So it's really important you get this right. Have a look around the area and online, see who's selling the most properties in your area, and they'll be the agent that will normally have the most buyers on their database. So that's a really good place to start from, because you can get viewings even before you get yours online. Also think about, are they on social media? Using that's a really good tool. Are they on all the major web portals? And when are they available to speak to my buyers? Okay, top tip number 3 is prepare your property. Curb appeal is really important for a first impression to a buyer. So little things like take the car off the driveway to show the space. If there is any clutter, you can see a bit of garden waste there, just put it away in the bin, and certainly keep the bin out of view as best you can. So come inside, there'll be some more tips. Okay, so another good first impression, quite a light, spacious hallway. Shoes are all out of the way with the shoe cupboard there, so that's good. As we go through, we've got little Jessie here. Not ideal as a distraction when you're trying to show people your home, so try and keep pets out of the way as best you can. So the kitchen's a really important room in the house. It can be very costly. If you feel it needs replacing and you can't afford it, there is actually an option that you might not be aware of just recovering the cupboard doors, and that can be done on a budget. So that's worth thinking about. But this one's really nice, simple, uncluttered, nice smells of coffee or bread in the background. It's a cliche, but it's true. But a really important thing is, before you think about getting your property on the market, if you are aware of any damp or electrical issues, it's really important you get that sorted first, because that's the number one thing that will put buyers off.
So my top tip to you would be to work with your estate agents and communicate. We're a proactive agent, and before your property's hitting the property portals such as Rightmove and Zoopla, we're already mailing it out to thousands of registered buyers that we have on our database. These are your hottest buyers ready to trot. So we need you to communicate, check that your emails aren't going to your junk folder, and answer that phone and be flexible with any viewings.
My top tips for completing the sale of your home are: completing your fixtures and fittings form as quickly as possible. Decide what you're leaving at the earliest stage. Secondly, I would choose a solicitor that has a good working relationship with your estate agent, as this is most important in getting the transaction to be as smooth as possible. And lastly, as eager as you are, please do not book your removals until a date is confirmed, as until you exchange contracts, their date is not legally binding.
Hello and welcome back to the Curiosity Show, showing you lots of exciting things about our world. Now, earlier in the show we introduced that we'd have Megan on our show. We're very excited. We love introducing guests on the show, especially because of everything with COVID, and now we can finally have people on the show. This is Heather from Green Meadows. Now, Heather, can you tell me a little bit about what is Green Meadows?
So Green Meadows is a climate action project that's started in the Meadows area of Nottingham, so that's just south of the city centre, and it's a 5-year project to support people in being able to tackle climate change as a community, but also individually from home.
Amazing. And so what sort of things do you do?
So one of the things we're focusing on at the moment is on homes and buildings, because it's a really important part of tackling climate change. So how it works is that to turn on a light, or for our heating, or for everything that we use, all the appliances that we use at home, we need energy. And the way that energy is got is by burning things like coal, which are fossil fuels. And a lot of our energy is sourced that way. And if we have too much of that, that can be very harmful for our environment. So at Green Meadows, what we're trying to do is help people learn how they can find ways to insulate their homes. So all of that energy that we're using and the heat that we're creating for our radiators is actually staying in, and we're not losing it and burning all these fossil fuels for no reason.
So how does that contribute to climate change?
So that is basically helping people reduce the emissions and reduce the amount of energy that they're using. But there's plenty of other ways to do it too. It's not only with homes and buildings, and we will be focusing with individual action and what people can do from their homes, and ways they can reduce their emissions together. Yeah.
And obviously there's so many different things that contribute to climate change. What are some of the other things that you focus on at Green Meadows that aren't just houses and energy that help you reduce your footprint?
Yeah, so I work in community engagement, and one of the things that we do is run regular climate change workshops with people. And actually, nearly a third of our emissions at home are from food. And it's not only food, for the production of food, but it's also the packaging that it comes in, how we're disposing of it, what we're eating. All of that can be a big part of our carbon footprint, we call it, which is the emissions that you have as an individual.
So how does what we consume impact on the climate?
So there's things like meat, for example, that can be very energy efficient and use a lot of energy. And this is because there's about 80% of our crops that we have for agriculture, so growing food, is actually for animal feed.
80%?
Yeah, so nearly 80%, and it's not for ourselves, it's for animals. So when you think about it that way, you also think that could be a solution to hunger too. You know, there's a lot of people that go hungry, but it's also so good for the environment if we're using the land efficiently and not kind of wasting all those plants for animal feed.
And obviously food waste does come into that as well, and how does that impact?
Yeah, so food waste is another one that we can do at home and deal with. So if you do have a bit of garden, or I've got mine in a yard, so just on some concrete, but getting a compost bin and putting all of your kind of chopped up bits of veg that you're not using, go in there, and then you can use them for your plant pots, or for, you can use, the compost is just a good way to stop all the harmful emissions from being released once the organic matter's broken down. And you can do that with your local community gardens too.
Thank you so much. That's Heather from Green Meadows. Now, earlier on in the year, we sent Megan to Dovecote Primary School, who've been doing just that, composting. Let's take a look at their secret garden.
Welcome to Dovecote Secret Garden.
Hi, I'm Joy Mitchell, and I'm the gardening teacher here at Dovecote Primary School. The main reason that we like to have gardening here at Dovecote Primary School is for the social and therapeutic benefits for the children. We use gardening as a way to build children's confidence, to develop their communication skills, and to help them to just feel better about themselves, to enjoy the natural environment. We also get some fruit and vegetables out of it, and that's a bonus, but it's really important to us how the children feel whilst they're in the garden and the impact it has on their learning. So for a lot of children that find the classroom environment difficult because they might feel contained, they come out to the garden and it feels freer, calmer, they enjoy their time in the garden, then they go back into the classroom and are able to learn better as a result. This is Bird in the office. Yeah, she's got a horse, so if the apples are really manky like that, there's only one place for them.
Bin.
Compost. Yeah. Well, these are the, do you remember which type of, have we got the compost worms? Well, the night will be down in the, yeah, so these are a little bit different.
Oh, worm! Let me touch it. I like worms. Can I feel it? Worms are friends.
It's wiggly.
He's very wiggly. All of the food that we make here goes to the kitchen. Like we make potatoes. We eat potatoes from here, the carrots, the tomatoes, the grapes, the strawberries.
And are they good? Are they tasty?
They're really good. We wash them first. We make sure that they're okay. The grapes, we have them like, we don't get like anything on the grapes. We have them like cut up into like some little like circle things, and they're in like a bowl in the kitchen. And then mostly I just pick them because I don't really like the puddings.
Mostly we have apples because we have a bunch of apple trees over
My dad told me to stay healthy.
Yeah, we have some of our best growing apples because these don't really get touched often, so they're quite good, except from this one. This one's very bad because this one must have been here for quite a while. So we put these in our bad bin, and then we put stuff like these. Even if it just has a little hole in them, we still put them for the horses because we don't want our people to be disgusted by the apples and stuff.
Actually, do you think that would be okay to eat?
Yeah, looks alright to me.
Okay, so this is for the people for the apple crumble. Olivia, you put a mouldy apple in here.
Did I? Oh no!
To save the seeds to plant some more plants. Does that work?
That's it, yeah, so that we've got more plants. But I could just go to the shop and buy them.
Yeah, but that would be more expensive. You maybe would just save these ones to plant them instead of buying all your spending all your money.
So we're saving money.
Don't go to any other shop. Yeah, don't go to Lidl's, really cheap.
Yeah,
all the plants are really cheap.
Yeah, they are, you're right. But it saves us some money. We work every week of the year out in the garden. We very, very rarely resort to indoors. So this time of year is lovely. We're harvesting, we're saving seeds, we're clearing beds ready for next year. In the winter time, we do some garden crafts. We make things using natural materials. We make sure our birds are well fed. I try to be quite child-led. So sometimes I think I've set an activity up to dig some potatoes up. And for example, this morning we found some caterpillars that were busy making little homes for themselves, and spent quite a long time with magnifying glasses looking at those and talking about those, and me learning from the children. So we're quite child-led. We like to follow the interests of the children as well.
It's really lovely to come here because it's just lovely to see all the apples growing on the trees, just everything.
And just all the plants growing and watering the plants.
And all the bugs just having fun in our environment.
Now how does it make you feel?
It makes me feel really happy.
Or proud because we planted.
Yeah, it makes us feel really proud. The Curiosity Show!
And it's great to see them learning by actually growing and, growing them as well as not just learning from teaching.
Yeah, exactly. Using it to create the compost. Now, the whole point of the Festival of Science and Curiosity is exactly that. It's not just about seeing and learning, but it's about doing. So we've put together another video of some sciencey tricks that you can do from home. Take a look at this.
Hi everyone. Now, I wonder how many of you were given a new ball for Christmas, either a basketball or a new football. But I also wonder how many of you know this really clever trick if you get a number of balls and you drop them at the same time. Look, I've got this rather large tennis ball, and if I just drop it, you watch how high it bounces. Not too bad, quite nice, but nothing very spectacular. Now, this is a mini basketball. Let's do the same thing, see how high it bounces. Not all that high at all. But watch what happens if we drop the two balls at the same time. Ready? 3, 2, 1. What? Did you see that? Now that's because the energy from this ball bounces back and bounces back through the basketball. Now I've got another ball here. This is a small squash ball. Let's see what happens if we do the same trick again. 3, 2, 1. Whoa! How about that? There's a trick that you can try at home. Shall we try one more time? The one thing that I've never been able to do and get to work is to drop 3 at the same time. So if this works, this will be an absolute first. Okay, 3 balls. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Wow! How about that, everyone? Terrific!
The Curiosity Show!
I love how enthusiastic Rick is about his demonstrations. And if you want to get involved more, you can try these tricks at home and send us pictures or videos that we can then put in the show.
We've got another challenge for you to do now before we go to the break. We've been given lots of funky pictures from the University of Nottingham School of Science Imaging Facility, and we want you to guess what they are.
Now, that's a long name, but these people basically get objects or materials or liquids and look at them under a microscope. Now, we've got one here, but a microscope is a piece of equipment that scientists use to look at things more closely. We have some pictures of what scientists have been looking at this week.
Okay, so here's our first picture. Now, what do you think this is? Do you think it's man-made? Do you think it's natural? What colour do you think it is? What patterns do you notice? Is there anything that you see in this picture that's familiar? We'll come back to it after the break. Get thinking.
The Curiosity Show!
You know what really irritates me? Ordinary pads and tampons full of plastic and chemicals. You know what doesn't irritate me? Organic pads, tampons and liners. ORGANYC. They're clinically proven to protect my sensitive skin with 100% certified organic cotton. And they provide unsurpassed absorbency too. Organic. ORGANYC. The only clinically proven feminine care brand. What a comforting thought.
Hello, I'm Helen.
And I'm Kerry.
And we run the Little London Herbal Stores.
And we're here to give you our 5 top winter health tips. My top tip for looking after my skin during the winter is to use the Weleda Skin Food. I like to use this on my elbows, on my hands when they're chapped, and also for flip-flop season in the summer when you get the hard skin on your heels. It's a really, really thick cream that goes in lovely. It's not for everyday use, but for everyday we've got the Skin Food Body Lotion, which you can use all over after you shower, and the Skin Food Light, which goes under your makeup. My next top tip is to take the Immune Boost tablet by Nature's Plus. It's a 1-a-day tablet that contains your vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin C and mushrooms to help keep your immune system healthy and keep away colds and flus. And did you know that some mushrooms are really good for helping increase your immune system and also helping with respiratory issues?
So this is my favourite top tip, and this is echinacea in a hot drink. Echinacea is really good for boosting the immune system and fighting coughs and colds. All you need to do is pop a teaspoon of the liquid in a cup, pour on boiling water, and you've got a really soothing, comforting drink that's going to have a lot of health benefits.
Another of my top health tips is to take vitamin D liquid. Vitamin D is important all year round, but especially during the winter months as we don't get it from the sunshine. I like the liquid version better because it seems to be easier absorbed and it also tastes quite nice, and it's a bit different from taking a tablet every day.
So this is my top tip for sore throats. This is really, really good if you've got a sore throat. You just rip the top off and drink the contents. And it coats your throat, it coats the mucous membranes. It's not horrible like a lot of preparations that you use. It's quite lemony, minty sort of thing, but it really takes away the sore throat quickly.
Hi, welcome back. Now, before the break, we showed you a picture of an item that some scientists in Nottingham have been looking at this week. Here it is again, just to remind you. Now, this is a sycamore seed. You might have seen lots of these sycamore seeds on trees, falling off them in the autumn, and maybe even on the playground.
They're normally a kind of narrow V shape, which is different from the normal shape of a leaf. And this makes a kind of helicopter, and it spins down when they fall off the trees. And that's so that they fly away from the original tree, and so that another one can grow somewhere different.
Now it's time for one of my favourite types of sciences that we said earlier on in the show, neuroscience. This is the science of the brain, and today we'll be looking at how the brain affects movement in our bodies.
Hi guys, I'm Rachel. I'm Pretty. I'm Santu.
And I'm Antonio.
And welcome back to this week's Neuroscience episode. Today we're going to be talking about muscles and reflexes.
Do you know how many muscles are in the human body?
Like 12?
No, there are actually 630 muscles. These muscles have the main purpose of helping us to move our body.
A reflex is a type of movement where muscles in your body automatically respond to something without you having to think about it, so they don't involve your brain.
Most of these reflexes have evolved for survival reasons. For example, when you move your hand quickly away from a hot plate, this reflex stops you from burning your hand.
Another example of a reflex is the knee-jerk reflex. This reflex helps us to keep our posture and balance.
It's a sudden kicking movement of the lower limb after a sharp tap on the patellar tendon, which is found just underneath the kneecap. Let me show you. The tap to the tendon stretches the muscle at the front of your leg called the quadricep. This turns on the sensory cells in the central nervous system called sensory neurons. They then send signals to the spinal cord and make more connections.
Doing this, he could write 15 words per minute.
But most people speak 150 words per minute.
Yeah, that's right. So Stephen Hawking spoke 10 times slower than you or I.
However, eventually he lost the ability to control his hand. The only muscle he could move was one at the top of his right cheek.
Have you ever tried communicating with just your cheek? Have a try at home.
His doctors put a small machine on his cheek to detect when he was moving it. On Stephen's computer would be the alphabet on a spelling card.
The machine would move through each row of the card slowly, and when it got to the letter that Stephen wanted, he would move his cheek and the computer would select the letter.
The computer also predicted what Stephen was going to say next. By doing this, it would let him speak much faster, as he wouldn't have to write the whole word out.
So now you know that Stephen Hawking had ALS, but what is ALS?
It's a type of motor neuron disease, also known as MND for short. A neuron, as some of you may know, is a special cell that sends messages from your brain to other parts of your bodies, like your muscles.
There are different types of motor neuron disease. They can have similar symptoms but have different names depending on what parts of the body the disease affects, if you inherit it, and which neuron it affects.
Motor neurons send messages between your brains and your muscle, so we can move our arms and move our mouths to speak.
There are two types, upper and lower motor neurons. Upper motor neurons are in the brain and send messages from there to your spinal cord.
Lower motor neurons in the spinal cord send messages to your muscles.
There are about 5,000 people living with motor neuron disease in the UK. ALS, the most common type of motor neuron disease, affects both the lower and upper motor neurons.
This means that the communication between the brain, the spinal cord and the muscles break down.
The motor neurons stop sending the messages to the muscles, so the muscles get weaker and waste away, which is called muscle atrophy.
This makes it harder to move your arms, your legs, makes it harder to speak and swallow.
That's because you use muscles for all of those actions. Because it affects swallowing and breathing, life expectancy is normally 3 to 5 years from when symptoms begin to show.
But it can be longer with support. Stephen Hawking lived with ALS for 55 years.
So when do ALS symptoms begin to show?
ALS symptoms start to show between the ages of 40 and 60 years old. It's a progressive disease, which means the symptoms get worse over time.
ALS usually happens randomly to anyone. Only 5 to 10% of ALS cases are inherited, so passed down from parents to children, like hair or eye colour. But it's not a contagious disease like chickenpox.
There's no cure for ALS, but there are several treatments that can help make a patient more independent and comfortable for as long as possible.
These can include medicines to slow down the disease, physical therapy, or assistive technology to help move about or communicate, like Stephen Hawking's really cool speech device.
This is an activity you can try at home to test your reflexes. All you'll need is a ruler and a friend. Take the ruler and hold it just above their hand, and then let go.
The lower you catch the ruler, the faster your reflexes. The higher you catch the ruler, the slower your reflexes.
Make sure to try this at home. Thank you for watching today's episode.
We hope you enjoyed it.
And learned something new.
Stay curious!
The Curiosity Show!
Now, I definitely want to be a neuroscientist after watching that. It's amazing everything that they know. So you've probably been wondering what the blackboard behind us is, and this is our curiosity board. Now, our curiosity board is to show us all of the amazing things that we've been learning and that we will learn throughout the week. So we'll add like little pictures and images to it to kind of show what we've been doing. So our first image to go on the board is our chimpanzee, because we heard what a chimpanzee actually sounds like earlier on in the week.
Did you guess what it was at home? Well, we'll have more Guess That Sound later in the show this week.
And we've got a really cute little plant pot here to show how we went to Dovecote Primary School in Clifton, and they showed us all about their secret garden.
Yes. We also heard from the University of Nottingham's sustainable chemists that were showing us about how catalysts are used to make reactions more quick. What else have we got there, Lara?
And we've got Titus, the T-Rex, that's on show at the moment at Wollaton Hall. And did you know, I never knew this, that a T-Rex's eye is the same size as a melon.
Amazing.
That's huge.
Amazing. What else did we had? We had a very special guest. We had Heather from Green Meadows, and she was talking to us all about energy use and how we can make sure that we're using energy as sustainably as possible. So let's get that one on the curiosity board.
And one more that we have, we've just heard from the neuroscientists at the University of Nottingham about how what happens in our brain really affects what happens in our bodies.
Exactly, that's wonderful. Let's get that one up nice in the middle.
Now,
and
we know the board seems a little empty now, but we're going to add to it all week, and then it's going to be a beautiful collage of colour and just everything that we've learned.
It's going to be great. It's going to be amazing. So don't forget that the Curiosity Show is part of the Festival of Science and Curiosity, which starts today and runs for a whole week, including right through into half term. We've got lots of activities that you can get involved with, go along to. Make sure you have a look on our website to get booked onto our workshops that are taking place right across the county, from Bulwell to Worksop to Newark to West Bridgeford. Really, really all over the place.
So wherever you are, you really can get involved. Our website is www.notsfosac.co.uk. We've got social media as well, any social media at NotsFosac, and use the hashtag CuriousNots so that Megan and I can see what you're up to, what you've been doing, and maybe even get you on the show. Thank you so much for joining us today. I've had a blast.
I've had an amazing time. I can't wait for the show tomorrow.
Amazing.
What we've got coming up tomorrow, we'll have another guest coming in. We'll have some more videos from young people from schools. We'll have some more demonstrations. We'll have lots more about the brain for you, Lara.
Exciting.
So thanks everybody for getting involved. We're coming live to you from Nonsuch Studios, and we'll see you at the same time, same place, here tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Bye.